All right, so welcome back and thanks for tuning in to another video. So today's video has been highly requested. Everybody's been wondering how has my no-dig landscape border has been holding up. So this is a 1-year anniversary since I installed the mini blocks. So I want to take you guys over how everything is looking 1 year later. And also I'm going to give you a front yard update to show you guys how everything is turning out with the front yard lawn. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stay tuned and let's go over it right now. All right, so as you guys can see, let's take a look in the yard. I'm gonna give you a nice little overview here. So this is the front yard here. This is in its 4th season. If you guys been following me, you know that this yard is in its 4th season, and it's a pure turf type tall fescue yard by Greenview Grass Seed. And I'm definitely satisfied with the variety and how everything turned out with this yard. If you guys been following me, you know I had some struggles in the yard here, but everything turned out very well. I like the color. I like how it holds up in the summer. It's very drought tolerant, disease tolerant. I caught one disease maybe 2 or 3 seasons ago in this front yard when the yard was pretty fresh, but now that it's actually matured and it's strengthened, and as you guys know, I use the Scott's Lawn Food or something of that variety. It don't have to be Scott's Lawn Food, but that's what I use, the Scott's Lawn Food. It was a 3204 formula, and that's what I use fertilizing going into the summer. You know, I did that on the backyard and I used it up here in the front yard also. So, but you can use whatever fertilizer you have, as long as it's got potassium in it. That potassium is definitely going to help the yard become more drought tolerant and strengthen itself against diseases. So, but I haven't had any issues with this yard here. I like the way it's turning out. Only thing I do here, I mow frequent. I mow about twice a week faithfully, fertilize, and I water. I water with 2 half-inch waterings a week. All your yard need is 1 full inch of water. I break it up into 2. So I water deep and infrequent. That's the best way to water. You don't want to water every single day because that's not helping your roots develop a stronger root system. You want to be able to water deep, let your roots search for that moisture down deep, and that's how it's going to strengthen itself. If you water frequent, every time you water, the water stays at the top and the roots do not have to search for moisture, so that creates shallow roots. So you do not want to water every day. You want to water twice a week, 2 half inches both times, equaling to 1 inch for the full week. Whether you water or Mother Nature, excuse me. Also, as you guys see, I have rain gauges in the yard. That lets me know the amount of water that's going to be put down on the yard. That's very important to know how much water you're getting down on your yard here. So that's side number 2. This is side number 1. Same thing, is looking good. Everything turned out very well. I cannot complain. It looks good. The color looks good. I went through what everyone goes through with a cool season lawn, and that is when you get the seed heads and then they leave behind them little stalks once they die out. And as you guys can see, I'll pull one out for you. This is what I'm talking about here, these little stalks. They get left behind after the seed heads kind of go and disappear. So if you see this in your yard, if you have a cool season grass, whether you have a fescue or a bluegrass, that's where it normally happens at. Don't be alarmed, it happens to everyone. All you got to do is just keep mowing. Eventually you'll mow them right out. The trick that I do, now I mow my yard at 3 3/4, but if you have those stalks in the yard, try mowing your yard a little lower. So if you mowing kind of tall, like 3 3/4 like I do, I mow at 3 1/4, and that'll mow down those stalks, and then the grass will grow back up, and then you start mowing back at 3 3/4. You won't see those brown little stalks anymore. So as you guys can see, this is the no-dig border wall blocks that I installed 1 year ago. 1 year ago today, I installed the no-dig borders with the mini wall blocks that I got from Lowe's. And as you guys can see, it is holding up very, very well. Everybody's been asking me how it's turned out basically curious because I didn't use concrete on the wall blocks to keep them in place. But I don't have any issues at all with the stones moving. They do not move. I even mow up in this area. I'll come up and mow, and I'll even bump into the wall blocks, and they do not move at all. So if you're interested in doing this but don't want to use the concrete, you do not have to use concrete to keep them in place. They will stay in place on their own, even going through the winter. I went through the winter months. I live in the Northeast, so we get real bad winters. And even coming back out into the spring, none of the wall blocks shifted or moved, anything like that. None of them broke or cracked, so I didn't have any issues. See, that's probably one of the main issues you'll have if you use a concrete, because then if one of them break, you know, you'll have a hard time. Like say if one of the blocks here like split in half or cracked or something, or you want to replace it, now you got to go ahead and chip away at the concrete to get it out, just to replace it, and that could create a headache for you guys. So I didn't use any concrete, and I had no issues at all with the mini wall blocks moving, because you got the no dig border on the outside here, and then you place your wall blocks in, and then you're going to place the mulch. The mulch is going to be pressed against the wall block here, basically with the border, and it's going to create it so it does not move. As you guys can see, I'm trying to move it and it will not shift. So you don't have to worry about the lawnmower pushing it. You can bump them and they will not move, they will not shift. And if you had to replace it, all you got to do is pop one out, just pick it up just like that, and as you see, the mulch actually formed the wall block. So you can just pop it right out, and if you wanted to replace it, put it right back in. Boom, no problems. See, if you had the concrete, you could not do that. So that's another pro of not using concrete. Now, if you want to use concrete because it helps you sleep better at night and you think it's going to help keep them in place, you know, be my guest. But this is just for the people that did not want to use concrete. I didn't want to use concrete just in case I move, someone else buy the house, they don't like the design, they could easily rip it up and do with whatever design they wanted to do. So that was another reason why I didn't want to do it. And also, I might get tired of the design. I might want to do something different myself. So I didn't want to create any more issues or problems for myself. So I did not use the concrete. The concrete is pretty much permanent unless you, like I said, you get something and chisel it out, break it out. And who really wants to go through all of that? I know I don't. I just want to go out here, refresh the mulch, maybe change the wall blocks out if I have to, change the plants. I don't want any issues. This is another part here. I don't got no wall blocks here, but that's my dino trap for bugs, mosquitoes. It catches all of that type of stuff. Without zapping them, they just get sucked down in there. So, and these are my plants here. Now, I'm looking for new suggestions on plants. I had these plants in for maybe about 6-7 years, and they look good when they actually bloom. They bloom nice white buds, but they don't last long. They only come like early spring, and within like 2 or 3 weeks of spring, they like sort of like tulips. They come, they look good, and then they die out within like 2 or 3 weeks or whatever. So if anybody got any suggestions on plants, please put it in the comment section. I will be interested in seeing what you guys suggest. I am like I said, in the market for new plants. I love these two plants here. They're like kind of like some kind of pine plant. They smell pretty good, and they give a nice little character with that green, with the brown mulch. It kind of, the color contrast looks very good. Hopefully you guys can bear with me. It is a windy day, so it is like real windy. So if it's some wind catching the mic, I'm very sorry. But from this angle again, how you guys think the wall blocks look? I like it a lot better than my old design. I had red mulch there with the outline of rocks, and the rocks were just a pain. They look good when you keep them fresh, but they were a pain when they fall into the yard, and then I mow over them, and sometimes the mower is like spitting rocks everywhere. It's not pretty, so I wanted something new, and it was time to refresh the yard. But I think it looked good. I think it came out great. The color contrast with the yard, the green on the yard here, and the lawn is actually doing well. The wall blocks are doing well. The brown mulch, I like everything. Let's go ahead and get in the shade. I'll give you a different view. This is a view from up top, me standing in the mulch bed here. And like I said, I like the way it looks. I like the way it came out. That's another bug zapper, if you guys are curious about that. It's a bug zapper, it's solar power, and it looks good in the evening when the sun go down and it kind of flame up like with a fake flame. It looks pretty good. I got that at Walmart, so if anybody's curious. But like I said, I got another plant over here. Anybody with any suggestions on plants? Because I want to take those out for the next season and put some new plants in here somewhere around there. Give it a little more character in here. But that's pretty much it. I hope that answered any of you guys' questions about the no-dig border that I did 1 year ago, how it's holding up without the concrete. I hope that answered you guys' questions, that you do not need concrete, but if you want to use concrete, be my guest. Like I said, if it helps you out, you can use the concrete, but I did not use the concrete, and as you guys can see, it is definitely holding up well. I didn't have any issues, and I went through winter and everything, and they did not move, they do not shift. Even with the lawnmower bumping into them, they do not shift. Like I said, the mulch holds them in place. The outliner of the no-dig border holds it in place, so no issues at all. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and the yard overview. Please hit me with a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll be back with another lawn care video in the future. So stay tuned and take care.